So I just had to decide, like, you know, I might just have to lose my wisdom teeth and maybe one more, whatever's in front of that, might just have to be gone because I ain't gonna be in here throwing up every morning trying to brush my teeth. Let me start by saying I have a newfound respect for women in general. Whether you are trying to conceive, unable to conceive, able to conceive, having these terrible symptoms, having great no symptom pregnancies, but then having terrible labor. Like, there are so many things that come with pregnancy that nobody tells you about. And I think part of it too is like the people who are close to me that I do know who have kids. I was usually out of town. Like I've lived away from home for I think most of my adult life. So when people are having kids and stuff, I'm not around to get like the day-to-day updates of what's going on. So this is all new to me, and it's just a lot of stuff that people don't tell you about pregnancy. Like, I'm going through first trimester, like, why do people even do this? Multiple times. Like, why do you suffer like this and then choose to do it again and again and again? I don't understand. And why are women ever disrespected in this world? Because this is for the birds. For one, being in my 30s, I wasn't really concerned about like, oh, I'm older, because I'm not even 35. Even if I was 35, I hate that there's so much pressure put on, you know, being a geriatric. Can y'all believe that 35 and up is considered a geriatric pregnancy? That's wild, right? But I do think, like, yes, scientifically, on average, things start to go downhill once you get in your 30s as far as fertility and things, and there are risks associated with that. However, being pregnant, you're already losing your mind in fear. And sometimes I think the added risk of being older are a bit overstated. So being in my 30s, it was a little like, I don't know, maybe I started too late. Not too late, but maybe I should, I don't know. First trimester, I was just feeling like, nah, this is for them young girls. Like, this is not no grown woman game right here. Like, when you're young and you don't know no better, I feel like I could probably handle this pain and this nausea a little better. But right now, I don't like it. But let's get into the symptoms, okay? So I told you guys before I even knew I was pregnant, my boobs were already like a little bit engorged. They were slightly bigger. They were sore. Nothing like too bothersome. Wasn't a big deal. I had cramping that one day, which I'm imagining was probably implantation. But then I was good. Then I actually like got the test to make it official, like, yes, girl, you pregnant. And by the next week, that morning sickness, which is really all day sickness for a lot of people, kicked in, and I just gradually started feeling just nauseous just all day, and it was terrible. Now I will say that I'm blessed because I know there are people who have been like far sicker and have had to deal with a lot more in their pregnancy. So in that aspect, I'm grateful that things weren't that bad. I wasn't throwing up every day. I was able to keep food down. But I also was going through it because I couldn't enjoy food. I didn't know what to eat anymore because I didn't know what was gonna make me feel more nauseous. It's like, if you don't eat, you're really nauseous. And then when you do eat, the food can make you even more nauseous. So it's just like, you're gonna be sick. Eating is not for, and I love to eat. If there's nothing else y'all know about me from watching these vlogs, you know I love to eat. You know I love my Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets. Y'all have not craved a chicken nugget in 5 months. I have ate some chicken nuggets now. I forced it a couple times. And that's really just because I wanted the fries because carbs. I can't even remember the last time I had a chicken nugget. And that's crazy. So yeah, I was sick. And I think the worst part was like the mental toll it took on me. Like just feeling so fatigued and so nauseous that I couldn't even really like do anything. I just wanted to lay. I would go from the bed to the couch because I'm like, okay, at the very least, I need to get out the bed, and maybe that'll kind of like give me a little momentum to do something. But day after day would pass, and it really got to the point where I was just laying on the couch watching TV and just trying to wait this pregnancy out. Like, if I just lay here, eat what I can, drink what I can, and just let these days run out. Because people say the second trimester is better. So I'm like, if I just at this point, I'm just counting down the days until I get to second trimester, which is a very, very depressing place to be. And then also, Big, my boyfriend, I will say he did a great job with supporting me at that time. And even to this day, he took on a lot. He did a great job with, like, he helped me with Jenkins. He would walk Jenkins. He would make sure we had food to eat. He would clean. Like, he really stepped up. And I'm really blessed in that aspect too. But he ain't do it without complaints, okay? He was not a happy camper. Now, initially, he was doing it kind of gleefully, not gleefully, but he wasn't, you know, mad about it. But after it just kept going on and on, after a while, it was just like, you need to get up and do something. Like, he was not having it. He felt like I was kind of using the pregnancy as an excuse. And I had to explain to him, like, when you met me, you know I was not this girl. Like, I wanted to, at the very least, if nothing else, you know I want to do my YouTube videos. You know that I was trying to, like, you know, build a business and all this stuff. So this is not, I'm not happy right now. Like, I had to tell him, because it's hard to tell when I'm, like, in a dark place, because I don't really show emotion like that. Like, I'm not a very emotional person. So I can still be sitting around laughing and kikiing with you, but you don't know that, like, all day I felt like bad. Oh my God, I'm about to cry. It's the pregnancy. Anybody who knows me knows I do not cry. Even, like, in situations where you should cry. It's like it would have to be like a really tragic situation for me to cry. I just felt so bad, y'all. I felt really bad. And I just had to explain to him, like, this is not, I don't want to live, like, I don't ever want to just sit around and do nothing, because I know all that does is lead me to depression. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I was clinically depressed, but it's just something about being so sick. And it's one thing to have a few days of, like, nauseousness and you get over it, or maybe you're nauseous in the morning and the rest of the day you're good, but just ongoing, nonstop nausea, on top of already just being tired, and probably the worst part is you feel super pregnant because these symptoms are so bad, but you don't look it at all. So it's easy to look at me and think, like, ain't nothing wrong with you. Like, you don't even have a stomach yet. But those hormones have kicked in and they're taking a toll on you because your body's trying to adjust, and whoo, child. So yeah, the nausea and the fatigue, nausea especially, it was a lot. And then, like, I would call my mom and my sister to talk to them. That was another thing. Like, in that small period where I hadn't told my mom, it's like I really want to call my mother and be able to talk to her about this stuff, but I'm not ready to tell her yet. Like, it's just a really lonely place to be. And then you guys know I work from home, even though I wasn't working, because I wasn't getting anything done because I just felt so bad. I don't see people. When I first got here, going to the gym was nice because it gave me the opportunity to leave the house, be around other people at least for a little bit, and then come home and be in my solitude and get my work done. But yeah, it was just a very lonely time, and it's like nobody really understood. Then when I finally told my mother, mind you, my mother had her kids in her 20s. I think she had CJ around my age. So by that point, she was on her last pregnancy. But she never really dealt with nausea so much. And she said even if she did, it was probably like in her first trimester, and she had to go to work. So there is something to be said, like when you have to get up and go, you ain't got no choice. So it probably helped her, like, get out of her head about it. But for me, I didn't have anywhere to go. So all I was doing was just sitting here stewing in it. So when I would call her or Kia, that's what they would say, like, you have to get, Jasmine, you just have to push yourself. You just have to get up and get out. And I'm just like, I know. But over time, it's just like, I ain't call y'all to hear that. Like, I ain't even called for no advice for real. I just wanted to complain. I just called to tell y'all about how bad I feel, and that's it. I just want to be heard and maybe coddled a little bit. And then hopefully this will end soon. That's just how I felt. And I told Kia, like, the last time we had that conversation, and she was like, Jasmine, you just need to blah, blah, blah. I was like, girl, I wanted to curse you out because I did not call for that. Just let me be miserable, okay? Let me complain, let me whine, let me cry if I need to. That's all I want. I just want somebody to say, it's okay. It's like, that's it. That's it. And like I said, Big was still very, like, even to this day, anytime I mention any kind of symptom or, like, potential, like, situation, like, he actually made it a joke now where, like, it's like, oh, I got diastasis recti. Like, he just takes all the little stuff I tell him about and just like makes it just like I'm being so dramatic, but I'm really not. But yeah, I really went through a first trimester, and I really question why anyone would want to have a baby out of their own vagina. I was to the point where it's like, I don't know, this might be it. I might can't have any more kids after this. That's how bad it was for me. Now, this is not to scare anyone, any other like potential first time moms, because everyone's pregnancy is different, and then like every pregnancy you have yourself can be different. So don't let that, just keep listening, y'all. It gets better, okay? So yeah, I felt really bad. Some other symptoms that I had were smell aversions. Big had this shower, he bought this shower gel in particular, and it just smelled so bad to me. It's not even that it stank, but it was just so strong, it just made me sick to my stomach. We actually got into a little argument one time because he used it again after I told him it makes me sick. And I was like, please go wash that off. So he got mad because I made him go shower again, but I'm pregnant, like have a little sympathy. Pregnancy, this is another thing to consider when you're like deciding like on whether the time is right to give birth or something. Like, have a sit down with your man and explain to him the potential of you being down for the count and just feeling really bad, and that it's not just a physical thing, it's also a very emotional, mental thing, and you just have no way to predict how your pregnancy is gonna be, and you really need that support in that time. And I know sometimes guys might think that women use pregnancy as an excuse not to do something, and that might be the case for some women, but I think for most women, the safest thing is to give women the benefit of the doubt, show some grace, because pregnancy is a lot. It's a lot. Even when the baby get here, you still going through stuff, okay? There's still risk involved after the baby is born. Like, it's so much. So yeah, smell aversions, acid reflux. I already had acid reflux issues before. Anytime I eat too crazy, too much grease, too much spice. The first time I had a really, really bad acid reflux was my trip to New Orleans for Essence Fest in 2019. Y'all, I came home, I didn't sleep for 48 hours because my acid reflux was that bad. Like, my throat was just burning. I kept like coughing and burping. It just felt like I had to throw up. So imagine that while being pregnant. It was bad. But my doctor told me I could take Nexium. I took that, it got better, and I've been pretty much good ever since. Constipation. Something I also dealt with before pregnancy. So of course, it's only right that I get constipated while I'm pregnant. Now, luckily I only had two. It was only 2 times, and they were kind of back to back, and I figured it out. First time I took a laxative, which I probably shouldn't have. You should not. I don't think it's recommended to take actual stimulants because it could cause contractions, which could lead to miscarriage. Like, it's a dangerous thing. I took it because I wasn't sure. Took it, and whew, it was a wild ride, y'all. I'm not gonna get too in detail with that, but if you guys want me to do a video on that in particular, I can do that. And the second time, I think I took stool softeners. Just don't really do anything for me, but I guess it kind of helped start it. But then I ended up taking milk of magnesia, and that did the thing. Ultimately, just keep a good diet. As far as dieting, which I'll do another video on remedies for my symptoms and how I kind of cope with things, but I'll just throw out there. One thing about this pregnancy, it has forced me to eat at least a little more healthier. Like I said, I don't crave chicken nuggets so much anymore, but I love fruits, especially strawberries and blueberries. I have a banana every now and then, and then of course you want to get your vegetables in, and those are things that I could eat, as much as I want, and it doesn't really fill you up that well, but it's something you can eat that is not going to make you sick. I feel like this pregnancy in particular has made me crave more natural foods. Some women have crazy cravings where they just crave sweets or whatever, but ultimately your body tells you what you need, and my body was telling me, girl, you've been tripping out with this Chick-fil-A and this Zaxby's, so we're going to get some fruits and vegetables for you, or else. And then finally, I already kind of touched on the whole depression and fear thing. Just feeling down because, like I said, I felt like I was alone. Nobody could really understand how I was feeling. And even when I talk to other people, I realized once you get out of that, God willing, the nausea and the sickness ends with your first trimester. And once you get out of that, I will say They were right. I was so afraid. I said, y'all, if I had to be sick like this my whole pregnancy, I'm never doing this again. The second trimester rolled around and I was good. And once I was good, it's kind of like I forgot about how sick. Like I clearly remember how I felt, like mentally and emotionally as a result of the nausea, but I don't really remember the nausea itself and how strong it was. I know it had to be strong because I still get nauseous now, but it's not no big thing. I've forgotten enough to where I'm like, oh, I could do this again. It was just 3 bad months, no big deal. But in the throes of it, I was like, I don't think I'm having no more. I don't think y'all get no more grandbabies out of me. There was fear around that, around the nausea not ending. And there was just the depression of like, why can't I just get out of this? Why can't I just feel better? And it was bad, y'all. But I made it through. So let's jump to second trimester. So right around the time I got into my second trimester, I went home for Thanksgiving. And I will say, going home and being around my family, I was really looking, I just needed that recharge. And I've always needed that. Like anytime I moved away from home, like I went home so often because it was kind of like a reset for me. Like I would go home and just be around that familiarity. And then I would go back and it's like I'm starting over. Like if I want to build new habits and I'm in a slump, where I am, like when I was in LA, if I was in a slump and I went home, spent time with my family, got my laughs in, got my love in, go back to LA and I'm ready to hit the ground running. Like I'm ready to do better. And that's what I needed during after first trimester. I needed that recharge. And at this point, everyone knows I'm pregnant, so like people are treating me. That's one good thing about pregnant, especially your first pregnancy. That was nice, feeling the love around that. And then my immediate family is not very like emotional, affectionate or anything like that. But I got just a little bit more of that because I could tell like they're happy for me, but they're also a little concerned for me because I'm so far from home. And it just makes me feel good because it just reminds me of how blessed I am to have such a good, supportive family. And I'm excited because this is like when I'm going to surprise my grandma with the news. I'll just let you guys see that vlog to see what I did. But I went home and at this point, things are kind of tapering off. This is my first time like really out the house. I had been in the house pretty much for 3 months straight. Pretty much, like barely left the house. But not only did I leave the house this time, but I was flying, I was by myself. I was kind of nervous just because I had been feeling so bad. And I knew like in the airport, there's a lot of walking and I just hadn't been out and about that much in so long. I wasn't sure what I could handle. So I did get winded walking through the airport. But other than that, I felt good. So I did the flight. Flight wasn't so bad. I wasn't feeling too bad. And I got to go home. Not only did I get to see my family, but I saw my friends. Like I saw friends that I hadn't seen in a long time, at least a year for all of them because of the pandemic. So having all of them there at once was cool because I did a little gender reveal. So yeah, that just really helped lift my spirit, and it was just fun. I got to eat. It was like the first time I really got to eat because I was really afraid that I would still be sick and not be able to enjoy Thanksgiving. I would have been pissed. But I ate, and I ate good, and I ate leftovers the whole time I was there. I ate cake, I ate ice cream. When I was able to eat cake and ice cream, I knew I'm back. Like, yeah, this is the part of pregnancy that I was waiting for, okay? When I imagine myself pregnant, I imagine myself nice and rotund with a nice little belly, enjoying like all my favorite foods like times 10 because everything is just extra good when you're pregnant. That's just what I assume. And that's not what it was in first trimester at all. Like I could barely eat. And I was just like, I just want to enjoy food again. But I enjoyed food that weekend. And I didn't have any problems. There may have been like some nausea here and there. No acid reflux, I don't think that I remember. If I did, I knew to like stay sitting up for a while. And then my grandma got a recliner. I was dreaming about that recliner before I got there. I was tempted at one point during the first trimester to stick me a recliner in here somewhere, but there's really no room, so I didn't do it. But that recliner was heaven. You get to lay back. So it was just perfect. So yeah, I felt a lot better between it being my second trimester and those symptoms starting to taper off and then being around my family. So that really brought me back, and it also gave me that boost to where like I was ready to come back to Houston, hit the ground running. So I'm come back, I'm gonna get this apartment together, I'm gonna start shooting, blah, 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 blah. Girl, little did I know what was coming. But as far as symptoms during my second trimester, like I said, I have a little nausea here and there. I really struggle with I can drink water, but I realize that drinking liquids makes me nauseous unless I have a really full stomach. Like if I'm stuffed, then I can drink a whole glass or whatever and be good. Something about having like a little space in my stomach makes me nauseous when I drink things. But I have to drink water, so I keep a thermos, and I started adding lemon to it just to make it more palatable. Still makes me nauseous, but I just power through because it's not, like I said, it's not debilitating or anything. I skipped the part. I didn't tell y'all about the time I think I threw up twice this pregnancy in the first trimester. And I think both times was because I was brushing my teeth. So in the first trimester, as if I didn't feel bad enough, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I was probably showering every other day, every 2 days, just because I just had no energy. I would finally take a shower, I would feel better, but a shower would take so much out of me. It still does, but not like it did first trimester. And then brushing my teeth, I would brush my teeth, but as soon as I got towards my back teeth at the top, in the back, like behind those teeth, I would gag. That's not abnormal because sometimes I brush my teeth. I still have my wisdom teeth, so my teeth go far back, so I have to brush far back. And it's not abnormal for me to gag like at least once while I'm brushing my teeth. But the problem with this was when I gagged, it triggered that reflex and I couldn't like calm my esophagus or something. I couldn't calm it down. So like once I did that first gag, it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna throw up. So I'm just trying, I'm like damn near meditating, trying to stop myself from throwing up. But it was a couple times I just couldn't stop it. The first time my stomach was so empty, it wasn't even hardly anything going out. But girl, I was in there gagging so bad. I was kicking my leg up like a horse. It was so sad. And I was like, why? It was so bad. And I hate, when I throw up, it's always so dramatic. That's why I hate it so much. And once I start, it's really hard to stop. But it only happened twice, thank God. And then after that, I was like scared to brush my back teeth. So I just brushed everything else and just, that's another thing they don't tell you. You can lose your teeth from pregnancy, because the baby is sucking nutrients from you, and if you're not eating enough nutrients, they can suck your calcium up and weaken your teeth and your bones. This stuff is serious, y'all. That's scary. So I just had to decide, like, you know, I might just have to lose my wisdom teeth and maybe one more, whatever's in front of that might just have to be gone, because I ain't gonna be in here throwing up every morning trying to brush my teeth. Back to the symptoms of second trimester. Nothing bad, really. The only thing I've noticed is melasma, I think is what it's called. And I just noticed this the other day, so I don't know when it actually started. But I have like some, and I'm sure you probably can't see it on camera because it's not that obvious, but like some darkening right in these areas, like around my neck. And then I also noticed yesterday I have it just outside of my armpits too. So it's like here and here. It's like a darkening. From what I Google, it's basically just melanin, like overproduction of melanin. Some people get it in their face. Child, pregnancy will take it out on you. I forgot to mention, it's not on my list, I also deal with like really chapped lips. Like sometimes my lips will be fine, and then like every few days they'll just be like super chapped, skin peeling, just looking nasty and cracked. So that's definitely a pregnancy thing. I didn't have that issue before. Another symptom, of course, by second trimester, you start gaining weight. I haven't been gaining a lot of weight. I lost weight first trimester, obviously because I wasn't eating that much. The good thing is I had already started gaining weight before I got pregnant, because I had kind of fallen off, you know, I was in love and stuff, so I wasn't really going to the gym like I was supposed to. I was eating a lot more. Y'all know how I be. So I had gained not a bunch, but I had gained some pounds back, which is a good thing, because when I got pregnant, I started losing those pounds. I didn't really realize how bad things were getting, how bad I looked until I looked back, because I've been documenting my stomach. And there was one week in particular where I just looked really sick. And the funny thing is the same week I did that, my last lock video. And I posted a reel and got reposted on some big Instagram page. I think it was Protective Styles. And a couple people in the comments said something about the makeup taking off years from my face. And I was just like, bitch, I ain't that old. But I was scrolling through my baby bump pictures through the first trimester, and I pulled one of them up, and Big was like, ooh, you look old in that picture. And I was like, really? He was like, yeah. Now, because it's me, I knew I look bad. I look raggedy, but I look raggedy all first trimester. So I just figured it's because my hair wasn't done. I didn't have on makeup. I probably had just woke up. I was going through it. But like when I really looked at it, I was like, yeah, I do look bad. Like I had lost so much weight that week, y'all. And just flipping through the pictures was how I saw like the difference. Like I was looking kind of plump, and then it's just like I was melting away just in a few weeks. So yeah, I lost weight first trimester. I wasn't too worried just because my mother has always said that she lost weight during her pregnancy. So I knew it wasn't abnormal. And of course by now I'm in Facebook groups and everything, Googling. So I know it's not an abnormal thing to lose weight. Second trimester was when I finally started stabilizing and then gaining weight. So I haven't been gaining weight. Hasn't been a lot. I feel like most of it's in my stomach. And then when I take pictures and do videos like this, I feel like some of it's in my face. But overall, my body pretty much looks the same. I'm pretty much just all stomach at this point. And even my stomach really kind of just looks like a pudge, but it's definitely officially popped out. My belly button is pointing out, especially when I laugh. It's so weird. So yeah, there's some weight gain, some stomach gain. The most exciting symptom, I can feel the baby now. I think I felt my first flutter at like 13 weeks. I think it was like 13 weeks. Now, some people might laugh, like, you ain't feel nothing. Like, you can feel stuff that early from what I've read. I think I did feel one little flutter, just kind of breeze across my stomach. And I knew it was probably the baby versus anything else because, you know, sometimes early in your pregnancy, you could mistake gas for the baby moving because things are starting to move around. Your uterus is starting to grow. So it's a lot going on in there, okay? Second trimester, I started feeling things like towards the front of my stomach in a place where it's like, there's no way my gas is all the way up. Like it feels like it's just under the surface of your skin almost. So yeah, I always had questions on like, is this the baby moving? And the first time I really felt something was while I was at home. I had just gotten into my second trimester and I woke up, I was laying on my back and I felt like a knot on the left side of my stomach. Like, and it was just like poking out. And it was just hard. And I was like, is this the baby's head? So I just kind of played with it and then it went away. I still don't know if that was actually the baby or if it was like my uterus, because I've read that that could be the case. But it was on the left side, which makes me think it was a baby. But around Christmas, so maybe a month later on, I know it was like right after Christmas, so recently, I was probably like 20 weeks. It was just like right after the holiday. It was probably the food I was eating. And it was just unmistakable. Like a lot of movement out of nowhere. And ever since then, he's pretty active, especially like when I lay down. Also, I didn't know that you get Braxton Hicks contractions so early. Like you can get them as early as 16 weeks. But I didn't really start. I think I've been having them a little bit. But it wasn't until recently to where it's like, oh, that's definitely a contraction. Like there's just a tightening along the bottom of my stomach where it's just unmistakable. It just feels like a fist. It doesn't hurt. It might feel a little uncomfortable. There was one night in particular recently where it was like really uncomfortable because it wouldn't stop. And I got a little worried. But I found that when you're a little more active, it kind of causes them. One time I did go out once and I was kind of dancing. And like when I started dancing a little too hard, contraction. So yeah, action. When you do actionable things, it seems like it causes more Braxton Hicks. But I've been feeling the baby kick. It's been really fun. I've been recording like video after video trying to catch little flutters of my stomach moving. I'm a little scared of what's to come because it's cute right now, but as this baby gets bigger, I can only imagine what it feels like to have a child just beating up your insides like that. So yeah, I've been having those and that's pretty much it. So second trimester has definitely been better. However, I came home and I'm like, yeah, I'm about to like be recording. You guys may have noticed I really haven't been putting out that much. I have been doing better, but I haven't been putting out as much as I've wanted to. I haven't been as consistent as I wanted to because soon after I got back, your girl got COVID. But I'm gonna save that story for another video. But I'm over that now. I'm back. I feel like myself. I'm about a month away from third trimester, so I'm a little nervous as to what's gonna come with that and how that might potentially slow me down. But I can't even think about that. I just have to decide that no matter what, we just gonna keep on trucking. That's what my pregnancy has been like up to this point. Like I said, it started off rough. I wasn't sure I would ever want to do this again, but now being in the second trimester, being able to enjoy food again, being able to shoot and edit, get out of the bed and do things, I feel like, I could do this again. I see why people have multiple kids. Thank you again for watching one of my videos. Leave me a comment below if you have any questions. If you want to see any content from me in particular, I'm definitely going to be doing some baby content, pregnancy content. Like, if you get annoyed by girls who like just talk about their baby all the time or just like post a lot of stuff about their baby, you might as well unsubscribe or just click out, because that's going to be me. So yeah, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you guys want to see more of from me. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss my next video. Thank you so much, and until next time, peace. Hug a woman today if you see her, okay? Just give her a hug and say everything's gonna be all right, whether she's pregnant or not, because this is a lot, okay? Hug your mama, okay? Because your mama went through this. Chances are she's probably a lot younger, so it might have been a little easier for her. But this day and age, some of us are waiting a little longer, and that's okay too. Just know, girl, please have some kind of support system in place, whether it's your friends or your family or your man, something. Cause this is no joke. And if you young, like really young, you think you want a baby, no, you don't. You don't want to do all this. This is too much. This is too much for a child, okay?